What's going on, everybody? So we're back with another Debt Blitz update. So over the past 5 months, I've been systematically attacking over $30,000 in credit card debt and over $20,000 in personal loan debt that I've accumulated over the past 5 or 6 years while living life in my 20s, going and traveling and living comfortably and not in excess, but just doing things that I felt were necessary for me to live the kind of life that I want to live. And eventually the debt added up and something needed to be done about it so I can unlock more freedom and be able to do more of the things I like traveling through South America and just having extra money to invest and put away for the long haul and just improve the quality of life that I'm living overall. So I've been attacking this debt. I've made some substantial progress, and I want to share with you guys that process, and I want to let you guys into my system. I'm using any kind of financial tools and anything that's really at my disposal. Any opportunities that I see to make some extra money, I will use them, and I'm putting them towards the debt blitz. So something that has recently happened was that I was on Credit Karma checking out my credit just out of curiosity to see if my credit score went up after paying down some credit cards on my Chase accounts, and I was offered a pretty hefty personal loan. And I looked back in October or sometime late last year, sometime in the fall, at personal loans just out of curiosity. I'm always looking at the rates to see what kind of capital I can get access to. And I checked back last month and I saw a pretty good looking rate on a personal loan with the Credit Karma guarantee. So sometimes Credit Karma will show you loans, and if you don't get accepted for the loan, they'll give you $50 on like either Credit Karma credits, or they'll give it to you on Amazon credit, or they'll give you $50 pretty much if you don't get accepted for this loan. So it's like a win-win for me. If I get accepted for the loan, I can take the money and, like in this case, refinance my debt at a lower interest rate, or if not, I get $50 and put it towards the debt blitz. So I took that loan, I looked at the terms, and I saw that if I take this loan and I pay down $35,000, so I did the math and I used ChatGPT as a helper to do this math and calculate how much interest and total money I would be paying if I took out the loan versus if I did not take out the loan. And I saw that I'd be saving several $1,000s over the course of my debt blitz if I were to take out this loan and convert those high interest credit cards into a lower interest monthly payment with the personal loans. And that's not always the thing that you should do. You should always do the math, because taking out a personal loan is not always the best if you're gonna spend it on a car or buying a speaker like I want. There's this Marshall speaker that I want, and there's like stuff that I would like to buy. I could have bought a new truck if I wanted to. When you get the personal loan, they just give you, like in my case, I got $35,000. Just deposit into my account. You can do whatever you want, but we need to be disciplined and we need to stick to the plan. And we use that money to consolidate our debt. So we take all those credit cards and we wrap them up into one loan, one fixed monthly payment, and then we make that payment plus some, and we can save money if there's a difference between the interest I'm paying on the credit cards and the interest on the personal loans, which there was a significant one that's significant enough to where I took that loan and went forward with it. So I want to show you guys those numbers, because this was really significant for me and definitely changed the trajectory of the debt blitz for the better, and is going to save me some time and effort on the road, doing Uber, which I don't mind doing because it's my money-making machine. But the faster that I can get out of this debt, the faster I can focus more on investing and enjoying life. So I'm going to check out the numbers. So I made another table on Excel. I love a good spreadsheet on Excel. And this is the refinancing or the refi spreadsheet. And there's a bunch of numbers here, but I just want to get into the meat and potatoes of this refinancing and what's important and why I decided to take this offer. So again, I was offered on Credit Karma through Credit Karma a personal loan through Best Egg. So Credit Karma has these loan offerings from different loan servicers. And if you go onto Credit Karma and you download the app, you can check out different loan offers that you have based on your credit profile and your income, your verifiable income. And I saw this loan offer for a $39,500 loan at around a 20% interest rate. I think the 19% was the interest rate itself, and then they take out a fee over the top. So I think effectively I was paying around 23%. And that's what it shows here on the spreadsheet. And that is significantly lower than the interest on my credit cards, because I know the average interest on my credit cards is around 29%. As you can see here, at the time I'm thinking, well, it's around 30%. Average these types of credit cards, and 23% or 19% in the beginning was significantly lower. Now, whenever you add on the fee that they take out on a lot of these types of loans on Credit Karma, it's effectively 23% APR on the interest, and that fee is around 10%. So I didn't get the full $39,500 from the credit card or Credit Karma offer, but I was able to get access to $35,050 at around 23%, which is significantly different than the 29% that I was paying on my credit cards. So what this spreadsheet shows is all of the loans and credit card balances that I was able to pay down with this $35,000. So I eliminated my big personal loan. So I had a big Avant personal loan. It was around $14,000 at 30% APR. So that's 30% interest. That $14,000 balance was growing at 30%, which is significant. It was a 5-year loan, and I was making $560 payments on that. So over the course of the debt blitz, over here we have the 18-month interest, and these are the numbers before the refinancing. So I was making that $560 payment, and I would have accrued over $5,000 in interest over that 18-month period. So that is what this table shows. I have that 18-month or that personal loan, Avant, and then the rest of these balances are for my credit cards. So I have, these are all the balances that I was able to pay down and knock down with this $35,000 that I was awarded through Credit Karma with Best Egg is the loan servicer that I used. And we can see all of the different APRs, all in the high 20%, most of them 29, close to 30%. The Apple Card had a lower interest rate, 25.49%. And, these are, this is the total interest that I would have accrued over the 18 months. That's kind of the horizon of the debt blitz that we were looking at. So I would have accrued over $9,000 in interest payments with my monthly debt blitz attack, the money that I'm putting towards the debt blitz monthly. So, that's just what I was going to end up doing, and I was going to stick with the plan. I saw this opportunity to refinance, and down here, if you look, we have the consolidated refinancing. So, this little part of the table is showing, well, what are the terms going to look like under a refinancing? So I got this $35,000 in the refinance. It's going to be wrapped up into that loan. So this was the old structure. So all the things that I had to pay if I had $35,000 to use. This is the new structure. We have $35,000 at 23% instead of 29%. And I have a monthly payment, same monthly payment. So $24,060 and 80 cents of my dollars going towards loans. And now, instead of paying down $9,000 or $9,110 or $14.51 or 51 cents, I'm going to be paying $6,278.67. So I'm going to be saving almost $3,000 in interest payments, and those $3,000 in interest payments will be going straight towards the principal on my balances. So I'm going to be able to pay off this debt faster and more aggressively. Going to be able to save over $3,000 in interest throughout the course of this debt blitz, and that's about a month and a half of debt blitz action. So that's significant, and I had to restructure my debt blitz payoff schedule. So again, we have the restructured debt blitz schedule up here. And if you haven't seen the old debt blitz schedule or seen exactly how I calculated, how I'm going to pay off this amount of debt in, X amount of time, you can check out the rest of the debt blitz series. I have a playlist. And if you're thinking about paying off some debt and need some help making some kind of strategy to pay off the debt, hit me up. You can reach out to me via email or leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you, and we can come up with a plan to get your debt paid off. But in my case, I have this updated debt blitz payoff schedule, debt blitz in a nutshell, and now we have a payoff date, defined payoff date of May 27th of next year. Compared to the old debt blitz schedule, we were looking closer to July or August. So, still staying with those $2,900 payments every month. This is the interest that's accrued every month on all of my debt, outstanding debt. And then we have my different accounts. So I have a $3,000 balance on my credit cards, and I'm going to be able to eliminate this within the next month or two, just going with my Uber earnings. And I was actually awarded a refund that I wasn't expecting, which we'll take a look at in the next Debt Blitz video. But I have a $2,500 infusion into the Debt Blitz because I got an Arizona State student loan refund that I wasn't expecting of $2,500. I guess my student loans, some of them activated mid-semester, and I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but I think they were just disbursed late because the rest of my bill was covered. So I'm going to be able to accelerate the debt blitz even more. But just looking at this number right now, we have $3,300. It should be paid off in a couple months. Well, next month it will be paid off. Then we have Best Egg, Upstart, and then the refinancing loan. So you can see $39,000 for the refinancing. My other personal loans, Upstart and Best Egg, these are the balances that they'll have on a monthly basis. And you can see it gets wiped out kind of out of nowhere in August, and that's because I have a student loan refund coming in August and in January of next year. So those are $5,000 just firepower that I can use to pay off my debt. So, and those $5,000 aren't necessarily free money, but they are allowing me to convert short-term debt into longer-term forgivable debt, because I'm a teacher, and if you are a public servant and you've taken out student loans from the government, you can get those student loans forgiven after 10 years of making qualifying payments. So, no matter how much money that I borrow in student loans over 10 years or after 10 years, I can get all of those student loans forgiven if I'm on a income-based repayment plan. And those income-based repayment plans have a repayment schedule that's not based on the amount that you borrow, but rather on your income. So it kind of incentivizes me and incentivized me while I was in school borrowing. Well, I'm still in school, I guess. But earlier on in my journey, I figured I'm going to be a teacher, and I might as well just borrow as much money as I can from the federal government, and I can get it all forgiven after 10 years. It keeps me locked into public service, so I have to remain a teacher or I have to be working for some kind of nonprofit organization. But that's just a constraint that I willingly accepted in order to take out that money. And I was really borrowing a lot of that money to trade in the stock market and invest into weed stocks, which haven't popped just yet, but it's a long-term thesis for me, so it's not something that I need to happen at this very moment. And I have some other weed stock videos if you want to check those out on the channel. But you can see I have all my balances here and when they're getting paid off. And we have that last month when the balances are all down to zero, May 2027. So that summer, May 2027, or summer 2027 is going to be a good one because I'll be debt free after fighting back over, and clawing down over $50,000 in toxic debt. So I'll still have my student loan debts, and I'll have to make monthly payments on that. But it's just the cost of doing business, and that's a lot more manageable than having 13 different credit cards and 3 different personal loans that I'm paying down every month. I'll just be able to have one solid student loan payment, and it'll be forgiven at the end of 10 years. Or maybe if I'm raking in a bunch of money and I want to pay it down earlier or pay it off earlier and get that out of my ecosystem, then that'll be an option also. But you can see right now we have my real ending balance. So these are the refinancing loan and my credit cards currently at this very moment. It's February 22nd, 2026. So $55,000, 148. The projected ending balance of February is $53,000, 155. So it looks like I'm back, but I have a few $1,000s in cash that I'm going to throw at this balance. So I'll be ahead of the game. And again, I'm going to show you guys and update you guys on this student loan refund that I wasn't expecting, $2,500, and that should be disbursed into my account sometime this week. And that's going to put me ahead of the game here. So I have this real ending balance. The real ending balance is calculated with my personal loan charts down at the bottom. So I got my best egg refinancing loan, the smaller best egg loan that I took out a few years ago, and then the upstart loan. So all of these principal amounts totaled up are my personal loan debts. And then over here to the right of my credit card balances. So I still have some small balances on a few cards just from interest accruing on some of those balances because I paid down most of those with the refinancing loan, that $35,000 that was disbursed into my account. So I paid most of those down, but my business cash is where I do my Uber and I spend through, so I have a balance there. Amex Gold is my living expenses, so I have a balance there. But most of this is going to get wiped out with the $2,500 disbursement that I get and some of the other cash that I have on hand in my other checking accounts. So that's going to be it for this Debt Blitz episode. I'm going to keep paying down this debt. It's not an easy thing to do. To be disciplined, you have to have a game plan. That's the most important thing. So if you're dealing with personal loan debt or with credit card debt, you just need to have a plan. So I came up with a plan. How much money can I make? What can I do? What kind of tricks can I take advantage of? Or what kind of work can I do to pay down debt? I'm also taking out, or I'm doing some checking account churning. So I'll make around $3,000 in just free money pretty much by signing up for checking accounts for banks because they give free money for signing up for their accounts and signing up for direct deposit. So I'll do a video on that to show you, how I structured that, my strategy with that. But any way that I can get some extra money to get this debt paid off, I'm going to do it. So again, if you got any value out of this and you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Like the video, subscribe to follow the journey and follow more financial tactics and progress on the Debt Blitz. So catch you guys later.